All right, Shalom. First and foremost, all praise and glory is unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim HaRakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone. And greetings, salutations, and blessings unto the elect. We're at the Brother Shaquat from the Las Vegas camp, and we're in the last days. And in these last days, the history's coming out. The tribes are being identified, and the devil and the wicked are being identified, okay? And we got this video that I went into that I'm going to get into, Lord willing, it's edifying, called The Indian Problem, quote, end quote, okay, by the Smithsonian NMAI. Okay, there it is down there. All right. And good video. Lord willing, I remember to put the link in the description. But it's going into the Native American tribes, okay, in which generally you can also add in the Seminole tribes as well, which are the Reubenites, and the so-called Native American Indians are the Gadites, according to the 12 tribes of Israel, particularly of the sort of the northern kingdom. Okay, so I just kind of want to go into this, and Lord willing, it's edifying. So we're gonna start with Genesis 49 and 19. It says, "Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last." This is a key phrase because this is the prophecy that that Isaac, I believe it was Isaac, gave, that Jacob, yeah, yep, it was Jacob gave. Salaki. It says Genesis 49:1, "And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourself together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days." And we're in those days. Okay, and this is what has happened, particularly to the tribe of Gad. It said, Gad, a troop shall overcome him. And over here on the right, this image, see if I can blow it up a bit. Okay, of the American soldiers, the troop, or the cavalry, if you will. Okay, was killing Jake. Okay, and in this documentary, they talk about how Andrew Jackson was a huge part in taking down the so-called Native Americans. Okay, it says, "But he shall overcome at the last," and I'll get into that if we remember that part. All right, so we're gonna go from there. Let's go to Zechariah. Chapter 2:8. Yep, perfect. It says, let me see what's above it. It says, for Zechariah 2:8, "For thus saith the Lord of hosts, Yahweh, after the glory hath he sent unto me the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye." And these Edomites have touched us, man. And the other nations have touched us. Okay, they put their hands on us, and when Yahweh Shai returns, he's going to redeem us from this captivity, and he's going to get payback on you other nations, man. Okay, by the hand of our Savior, Yahweh Shai. All right? "For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye." Yep, it says, "For behold, I will shake mine hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. Okay, and ye shall know that the Lord Yahweh host have sent me." Okay, and Yahweh Shai gonna come and redeem us, man. That he was sent to rescue the elect of Israel. Okay, and the tribe of Gad is 12,000 of the 144,000, and part of the 1/3 as well. Okay. Okay, so let's go to Jeremiah. Yeah, because when this devil came in to spoil us, man, he took us all the way out. I mean, but all the way he tried. And you watch this. This goes into the Indian problem and the Indian Removal Act. All right, that was just them taking away our traits. When you watch the documentary, which is not fresh in my mind as it was yesterday when I watched it, but it was beautiful because it showed you the different levels of how Esau tried to take out Gad. Okay, particularly they started with just pushing them further west and killing them. Then it went from that into making treaties with them that they didn't keep, and that's why it was so beautiful what they said. I'm gonna get that Try to pause it. Yeah, this was beautiful. This is attributed to Red Cloud that said this. It said, "They made us many promises, more than I can remember, but they kept but one." Okay? They promised to take our land, and they took it. That's the promise they kept. They promised to take the land of the Gadites, talking about North America particularly, and that's the only promise that they kept. Okay, when you hear the term Indian give, which I wonder what Google will say about Indian. Let's see. Bear with me.
According to Wikipedia, Indian giver is an American expression used to describe a person who gives a gift and later wants it back, or who expects something of equivalent worth in return for the item.
Okay, and that's attributed to what Esau would do. Esau is the Indian giver. That term is attributed, like it says, is described as an expression that describes a person who gives a gift, makes a treaty, makes a promise, but then later rescinds on it. Okay? Doesn't hold his word or his promise. And that's what Esau continued to do with Jake, particularly with the tribes of Gad and Reuben. They would promise them a certain land, and Gad would go live on that land. And then what would happen? Eventually, Esau would come and want that land and push them further until they got all the way across the Mississippi, all the way off the land, until they found these spots of these reservations, man. And not only that, during this removal act, they also tried to recondition is another word that I'm looking for, but basically to train Jake to be more American. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play some of this video. Lord willing, the Smithsonian don't trip. I'm gonna just try to play a little bit of it. See what I can do. See if we can get to a good part that I was.
Primary interest in treaty making was to acquire Indian land. And so the treaties were used for that purpose, especially as the United States found itself in a position to pretty much dictate the terms of the treaty. And so the treaties morphed from this friendship and reciprocity sort of relationship into a very one-sided thing.
There's almost a mythology about this, that somehow when the Pilgrims arrived, they were dragging land behind them. There was no land brought here. The land here was Native nations.
Okay, I don't want to go too far into this as far as showing too much of the video, for copyright reasons or whatever, that YouTube can find any reason to strike and to cancel your page. So I'm like I said, check this out. If it's not in the description, go to the Smithsonian NMAI, okay, and check this video out. It's only about 12 or 15, less than 15 minutes, 12:31. Very, very good, man. Very good. Paints the true depiction on how things actually went. Okay, and I'm sure that this wasn't even as harsh as the real events took place. Okay, so now, because when they were getting rid of it, I was looking for that part, but it's gonna be hard to find it. Let's see if I can find it. I want there to be an understanding of so the Native nations. They even showed when. Well, anyway, like I said, there's a part where it shows that they even tried to Americanize Jake, okay? And try to make these natives, so-called natives anyway, into Americanized like Esau, okay? So, let me go back and read more scripts. Oops. Go to the book of Jeremiah 17. And I'm going to try to keep this short. Just hit these scripts and go close out. Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. Not only the Israelite heritage that we were given, okay, was taken away and taken out of us. Because even when you look into the native customs, they still were keeping a resemblance, if you will, of the statutes, laws, and commandments. Okay, it wasn't kept as it was in the land of Israel when we had the priest and we had the Sabbaths and the different reading and the law and the full customs going on there. But it was still a resemblance of those customs. Okay, and then those native customs also were taken away per this video. Okay, so it says, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever, with the idolatry and the not keeping of the statutes, laws, and commandments, as we agreed to back in Deuteronomy, back under Mount Sinai. So these things will come upon our people. All right, from there, Micah. And these are all basic scriptures. Okay. Because this is how Esau, I start 2 and 1. It's how Esau got down. Okay, it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Like they said, they broke all these treaties because they knew there was no one to oversee to make sure that they kept the treaties. Okay, and that's what they continue to do, on and on unto our people. All right, it says, and they covered fields. Talking about America, they wasn't dragging a land behind the pilgrims, behind the boats. They didn't bring land with them. It was all native nations over here. Okay, it says, and they covered fields and take them by violence. And as you see here, that's what's going on. They're taking them by violence, and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Okay, even a man in his heritage, even to the point where they want to remove the Indian out of so-called Native Americans. Okay, they want to remove the as they're doing today, trying to remove the God gene out of you Jakes, out of you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Nothing has changed. This devil is still doing what he's been doing since his existence on the planet. Okay, since he was butthurt about being supplanted for the birthright he didn't even want. You know, he preferred uncooked food, meat particularly, over his birthright. All right. So from there, yeah. From there, we're gonna go to Psalm. Yep, Book of Psalms, 49, and then yeah, it says because Esau doesn't think that they're coming out of power. Okay, they believe that they can just continue to just take and take and take, and there's no repercussion because evil against a sentence against an evil work isn't executed speedily. The hearts of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. So because they can just persecute us and kill us, as per the punishments that were given unto us from Yahweh for Esau to carry out, even when that iniquity had an end, they continued to forward the affliction. Okay, as it says in the book of Ezekiel, the 35th chapter. All right, and this is Psalm 49:11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, that they're never going to come out of power. There's no one to check them, no one to stop them, so they don't ever have to come out of power. It says, and that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They continue to pass down the wealth against our people from generation to generation. Okay, with no repercussion, man, with no payback, with no give back. All right. It says they call their lands after their own names because it's not called the land of Gad. It's not called the land of the natives. They just call them, like, at best you get indigenous. You get the word indigenous at best. But they should be called the children of Israel. Okay? Okay? We should all 12 tribes should be called that, not just Mexican or Negro, black or Puerto Rican or Cuban or Native American or indigenous peoples of North America. No. Okay? All right? It says from there I want to go to, but they have that thought. If they take us out and discontinue us from our heritage, they believe that they can't be taken out of position of power. They are sadly mistaken. Let's go to Zechariah. Back to Zechariah. 11. See, yep. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them. Okay, they slayed us, and hold themselves not guilty. They thought it was manifest destiny. They thought it was, part of eugenics. They had no problem causing genocide against our people. Okay, as they just took the land and the resources from our people. That came at a heavy price against us. Yeah, we were guilty for the punishment, but they still executed that with vengeance in their heart, and not in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Okay, talking about those Edomites under Andrew Jackson particularly, and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, and they were selling us, man, selling the Negroes, the natives, and the Hispanics with the transatlantic slave trade. They was going 3 different ways on 3 different continents, man, passing our people around, selling them, getting rich. It says that say, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Hey, they were getting rich, and they didn't even pity us, how they was treating us, man. They would treat us in all kinds of inhumane ways. Okay, and this video depicts a lot of this stuff going on. Okay. Yeah, and you go into the next verse, which I'm not going to read, but you go into that next verse, and it just shows you how the Most High allowed them to do it, because we were disobedient. That's part of our punishment. Okay, but they went too far above and beyond. That's why I read this one, Zechariah chapter 2 and 8. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent unto me, unto the nations which spoiled you, destroyed us. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. You've touched now the apple of his eye, his prized possession, his jewelry. And you got to get paid back for that. All right, from there. And this is where we went to Genesis 49. I'm going to read it again, and then I'll show you how it's coming to pass. 19. Genesis 49:19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. How does he overcome at the last? Go to Revelation. Okay. Revelation 7. Let's start around 3. 7 and 5. It says, this is how you know. Let me see. Let me see. Yep. I'll start verse 4. It says, and I heard the number of them that were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Okay, the 144,000 is why they overcome at the last, when we take our enemy down. Okay, when Yahushua comes and removes this devil out of power. Okay, and this is why it says, of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000, of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000, of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Okay, and it's going to continue on to the rest of the 12 tribes. Okay, but particularly here, that's how, because we're going to get saved. And if we're the 12,000 and the 1/3 that are saved, guess what? That means Yahushua is coming back to rescue us, and that's how we're going to overcome at the last. And then we'll be made that sharp threshing instrument and get busy as a battle axe and a weapon of war, under the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in all righteousness. Okay? So that's how we're going to overcome at the last, being chosen to be part of the elect of the children of Israel. And regardless, Lord willing, I'm part of the elect and be a part of that number to get my hands on Esau's neck. The other, the 12,000 tribes of Gad will be there. Okay? They will be there with Yahushua. Okay? Getting rescued. Right? That's how they overcome at the last. And from Sirach, the 25th chapter, it says, blessed is he that get to see the fall of his enemies, man. And that's also how they'll be blessed and overcome at the last. They're going to see Esau getting taken down. Because Esau still has a special hatred for you Israelites, man. Particularly you Native American tribes and you Seminole tribes, man. Because you guys were mighty warriors and they always wanted to destroy you. Because you were giving them hell with them bows and them arrows, with the terrain, using ninja-like skill with the arrows and daggers and tomahawks and hiding in bushes and stealth abilities. Okay, so I just want to bring that out. But the point is, go check this Indian problem out, man, and show you how you can look directly at what's going on in the history and see how out of the Smithsonian, and then see how in the scriptures it labels the same things, which also indicates that the tribe of Gad, the so-called North American Indians, that you were the tribes of Israel, one of the tribes of Israel, and the Seminole Indians, okay, or another tribe of Israel. All right, so Lord willing, this has been edifying, giving all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Al-Shai, Ba'ashim Al-Rakakudash, double honors to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone who rule well and teach us his truth through the Holy Spirit, and greetings, salutations, and much love, and blessings on to the elect. Till then, shalom.